In this video, you will get an introduction to the listening exam. On the exam, you will have 35 minutes to answer 25 multiple choice questions. 19 of your 25 answers must be correct to pass the exam. The audio fragments on the exam are approximately 1 minute long. You will have around 10 audio texts. It could be a bit less, maybe a bit more, but always around 10. This means that you have 2 or 3 questions per audio text. The level of the exam is A2. Here we see the interface of an exam question. In the top of the screen, you see the texts. This exam has exactly 10 texts. Below that are the numbers of the questions, which go from 1 to 25. The exam always has exactly 25 questions. Now let's have a look at what the process is for each exam question. First, you will hear the context description, which is in this case: Maria heeft een online cursus Frans voor beginners gekocht. Ze luistert naar de introductie van de cursus, which means Maria has bought an online course French for beginners. She listens to the introduction of the course. You will then always hear these two sentences. Lees eerst de vraag, luister daarna de tekst, which means first read the question, then listen to the text. So the next step in the process will be to read the question and the possible multiple choice answers, and for that you will have 10 seconds. Then you will listen to the text, and the audio fragment will take approximately 1 minute. After that, the question and the answers are read out loud, and this could go something like this. Na hoeveel lessen heeft een cursist A2-niveau bereikt? Na 30 lesdagen. Na 9 lesdagen. Na 20 lessen. Na 15 lessen. So then you'll finally have to answer the question. So you're going to choose the correct multiple choice answer, or the answer that you think is correct. And after that, you can click on the right below. There is the volgende button, meaning next, and we'll go to the next question. Listening to the fragment again is possible, but look out for the clock. So don't do this too often, otherwise you might get in trouble with the time. Let's talk about the speed and the difficulty of the exam. So the audio fragments that you hear on the exam are easier than natural speech. This is because they are scripts, so it will be clearer than what you hear on the TV and on the radio. So actually, listening to Dutch radio and watching Dutch TV can be a very good exercise, because if you try to understand what they are saying there, then after that, the audio fragments on the exam will probably sound a lot easier. However, an important side note that I want to make is that listening to radio and watching Dutch TV should not become frustrating. Realize that it's an effective thing to do. Try to understand what they are saying, but don't worry too much if you don't understand something. Then on the exam, to make it more challenging for you, in the audio fragments, you'll probably hear most of the multiple choice answers. And obviously only one of the answers is correct. So this is to test your listening skills, to test your ability to choose the correct answer from the multiple choice answers that you hear. Next are the question words. Question words are essential on the listening exam because there is a question word in almost each question, and in order to understand what they are asking, you need to know what the question word means. So make sure that you know the question words well. The examples or the question words that you could get in the different exam questions are here. They are wie, hoe, wat, welke, waar, wanneer, waarom, wat voor, hoe vaak, and hoeveel. So make sure that you know these question words very well, because they are essential for understanding the question. Now let's have a look at which types of text you can expect on the exam. There are two main categories. First, the monologues. Second, the dialogues. Some examples of a monologue are a voicemail message, an automatic answering machine, or the news or the weather. Some examples of a dialogue could be colleagues talking to each other, classmates talking to each other, or a conversation with a receptionist. Now, the text can either have a formal or an informal nature. Some texts that are more likely to have a formal nature would be an automatic answering machine, or the news or the weather, or maybe a conversation with a receptionist. These are more likely to be formal. More likely to be informal would be a voicemail message, for example, or colleagues talking to each other or classmates talking to each other. If you would like to hear more information in detail about the types of text, you can go to the lessons example of monologue or the lesson example of dialogue. So that concludes this lesson. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.